And welcome to Lunch Break, everyone. I'm Tanya Rivero. This Tuesday, April 15th, marks a somber day in Boston as the city commemorates the deadly bombings at the finish line of the Boston Marathon last year. We're going to show you right now a live shot of the memorial service getting underway today. Vice President Joe Biden and Governor Deval Patrick will be joining Mayor Marty Walsh and affected families for a memorial service at the Heinz Convention Center. With more on how Boston will pay tribute today, we're joined now by WSJ's John Kamp from our Boston Bureau. Hi there, John. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tanya.
John, could you tell us a little bit about the mood in Boston right now?
I think it really runs the gamut. There's certainly just the fact that this is the anniversary of the bombing really dredges up, I think, intense memories for a lot of people for what they felt this day a year ago. But in many ways, it's almost not quite celebratory, but I think that there's just an enormous amount of appreciation, if that makes sense. In fact, today's event is called a tribute, and I think that the sort of underlying thing you hear stressed quite a bit is really just sort of a tribute for the families of the victims and the strength that they've shown, a tribute to the survivors and how well they've done bouncing back from their wounds, and a tribute to the first responders who remarkably almost assuredly prevented more people from dying on the scene.
So there's a sense of moving on and looking forward as well as looking back.
That's true, but I think that one thing that is stressed quite a bit when you hear, when you speak to the survivors and you talk to them about their wounds is that this is really, it's a very long process. It was 16 of the people lost legs in the bombing, and it's a long road for them. I mean, they're doing remarkably well considering some have had a dozen or more surgeries, but there's still a long path ahead.
Absolutely. And John, can you speak to the security and police presence you've seen there and the plans for the marathon?
Well, certainly stepped up security today, and part of that is that, as you mentioned, Vice President Joe Biden is in town. But you're really going to see it next week. Today is the anniversary of the marathon last year, but the actual event is taking place on Monday next week. And really the operative word is bigger, and the other one would be more. Next week, you're going to see more spectators, you're going to see more participants, and you're going to definitely see much more security. There's going to be basically double the security personnel. They're going to have people at extra security at popular checkpoints.
And is turnout expected to be the same as last year in terms of marathon participants and tourists coming to the city?
No, more, bigger. It'll be, certainly there are people who, after what happened last year, might be concerned, about attending this event. But that's not going to hold many people back. In fact, there could be 1 million people there, which is hundreds of thousands more than normal in terms of spectators. And I believe they're expecting about 36,000 runners, which is roughly a third more than they had last year or in typical years.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John, for that.